We're on a 7-night Alaska cruise aboard Quantum of the Seas, and today is our first port stop, and we're in Sitka. Sitka, Alaska is one of the largest cities in the United States by square miles, but there's only 8,000 people there, and there's actually more bears than people. The Sandra Bullock movie The Proposal is supposed to take place in Sitka, even though it wasn't filmed there, but you can see some of these sites in that movie, like St. Michael's Cathedral. When you think of Alaska, you think of cold weather, but Sitka is part of a rainforest. It rains a lot in Sitka, about 90 inches a year, and then it kind of rained on us while we were there too. So let's talk about our day in Sitka. So there is one thing you should know when you arrive in Sitka. There is a shuttle that takes you from the port where the ships dock to where the downtown area is. This shuttle is free, and with Royal Caribbean, they'll actually email you several weeks before your cruise with a link to kind of select your time slot, which is what we did. We selected a really early in the morning, 10 a.m. time slot to take us over to downtown Sitka. Don't worry though if you don't select a time slot on or before your cruise, they still have availability. It's just that you might be pushed back to get into downtown. You'll also select a time to go back to the ship, which we were going to be in Sitka from 10 to 4:30. The line to get onto the shuttle moves very quickly, and then when you're on the shuttle, it is a quick drive from the port to the downtown area. And if you're lucky like us, you'll get a good bus driver who will point out all kinds of cool things along the drive, like the only McDonald's and the harbor and how expensive the houses are in Sitka. When we got to downtown Sitka, they drop you off right at a visitor center, and it gives you a great view of the harbor. This is one of those places when you get off the bus and you look across the harbor, you just wonder, why would I ever want to go back to a place like Texas when a place like Sitka exists out there? From there, we walked through downtown over to our first historic site that we were going to visit today. We didn't have an excursion, we were just kind of checking things out on our own. And that was Baranof Castle. Baranof Castle is it's a gigantic hill at one end of downtown over by the water, and this site used to be a castle. It's significant to American history because this is where the United States took control of Baranof Island. This hill, where the castle used to be, gives you a great view of the downtown area of Sitka and of course the waterfront. It's a great place to take pictures and to kind of plan your day and where you want to go in the city of Sitka from there.
The first thing on our to-do list in Sitka was to go back to BEAK Restaurant, or BAK. We had gone to this restaurant the last time we cruised to Alaska on Ovation of the Seas, and it was excellent. So we wanted to take Travis's family back there to check it out. We went there for lunch, and I got the rockfish tacos. Travis got the salmon slab, which is Sitka salmon on a cedar plank, as well as a bowl of salmon chowder, which is Sitka salmon, carrot, celery, potato, and the 3 rockfish tacos are local rockfish encrusted in chili cornmeal, cabbage, beak, pico de gallo, lime crema on corn tortillas. The tacos were excellent, and BEAK even has their own special hot sauce, which is just a little spicy with a little bit of sweetness, and it was delicious.
The salmon at BEAK is exceptional. It's obviously fresh. They get it right out of the sound right there next to the restaurant, and the salmon chowder is some of the best that I've ever had. This restaurant is in an unassuming building. It just looks like an old house that they've turned into a restaurant. It's very, very good food though. They have a chef on site who does an amazing job curating the menu, and just about everything that we've ordered here through the last 2 visits we've gone, and then everything that my brother's family ordered was excellent. We can't recommend BEAK enough. They're an excellent restaurant for a lunch on your day in port in Sitka. It's definitely worth the stop there. And if there's a wait or a line, it's definitely worth waiting for it. We loved it.
After a delicious lunch, we headed out to the downtown area to do a little bit of sightseeing and shopping. In Sitka, there are a ton of little shops with Russian nesting dolls, which were on our list to purchase, we thought, but we apparently forgot that they are quite expensive. So instead, we just spent a lot of time window shopping, seeing all of the cool artifacts that some of the shops have, and trying to see if we could find any good t-shirts. In the middle of the day, we headed to Highliner Coffee Shop, which is a little unassuming building over by a Subway. But they do have really good coffee. I got the Highliner, which is a caramel drink, and then we also got baklava and a key lime dessert. The baklava was not quite as good as what we had in Greece. I guess that makes sense. But the key lime dessert was excellent. I really enjoyed it. And the coffee is good there too.
One of the shops that we went into in Sitka was the Alaska Pure Sea Salt Company, which is a company that sells pure Alaskan sea salt. How does that work? But this place does sell excellent, delicious, different types of flavored sea salt. And this stuff is excellent on a lot of stuff that you cook with. This is not an ad, I swear. But we highly suggest the coffee bean. And this is really, really good on salmon. As soon as we got home from Alaska, we cooked salmon and used this as the seasoning, and it was amazing. And then the other thing that we got was vanilla bean salt. That sounds weird, right, Nicole? But the vanilla bean salt is excellent on desserts like ice cream. So we had seen this place when we were in Sitka in 2021, and I wanted to go back there this time to get more salt. And this is the one big thing that we purchased while we were in Sitka besides, typical souvenir stuff. So if you've tried this place, highly recommend it, especially the coffee on salmon. Delicious. Also in Sitka, we walked past the St. Michael's Cathedral, which is right in the center of town. It's the most recognizable tourist area of the city, and it's a really nice church. After walking the downtown area for a while, we walked all the way past the Nature Center and Sitka Sound and went all the way to the Sitka Historic Park. This is a national historic park that shows off and educates folks on the Native Americans who used to live in the Sitka area and their story. The big thing about the National Historic Park here in Sitka is the totem poles. They have them all over the place and they're all authentic. And they can even tell you the story of how they make them, and they have some that are inside like different displays so you can get really up close to them. It's one of the few places in the country where you can get this close to totem poles and this many of the totem poles. The other cool thing about the National Historic Park is there are hiking trails, and I love to hike. If you didn't know, before we started cruising, when the cruising industry restarted back in 2021, Nicole and I used to go hiking all the time in national parks and other places across the country. We did 11 national parks in a year at one point. And I love hiking in the mountains, and the hiking trails that are near the National Historic Park are awesome. It feels like you're on the Forest Moon of Endor if you're a Star Wars fan, but they're really, really cool. And they go past like the water in Sitka Sound, and then of course they go through over a river and then through some really tall trees and with some elevation. And there's animals to see there, like bald eagles. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll see a bear. Or not lucky. Either way you want to describe that. It'd be lucky for us, probably not somebody else.
The history behind the park was very interesting, and the hiking trails were super easy. Even children could do them as well, lots of family activities, and the weather was perfect. We saw several bald eagles. Unfortunately, no other wildlife, but it was a great day for a walk outside.
Saw some squirrels.
Squirrels don't count.
Now, as I said, walking to the National Historic Park, there is a science center and aquarium, it's a small aquarium, on the way. If you go to Sitka during the salmon run, when salmon season is going on, you can see tons of salmon going up the fish elevator, or fish stairs, I think it's stairs, that they have there. Unfortunately, this time, since we were here in June, the salmon are not running, so we didn't get to see any of them. But when we were here in 2021, the salmon were going crazy in that area. So if you're going between the end of July and the end of salmon season, which is at the end of September, chances are you'll see probably hundreds and hundreds of salmon fish just waiting to go up that ladder. Now, we had talked about going to Whale Park in our planning video because the last time we were in Sitka, we heard there was orcas out there. While we were in Sitka, we did some research and talked to some folks, and they said that this time of year, which is in June, was not a great time to go out to Whale Park. It's a cool area, but you probably wouldn't see too many whales, if any. It's more in the later part of the year that the whales are out there, like in September. So maybe next time we'll go to Sitka again later in the year. So if you're thinking about going to Whale Park, make sure you check the best time to see whales at Whale Park. So we skipped it this time. It was time to head back to the ship after shopping, eating, and hiking and checking out everything that downtown Sitka had to offer. It was a short day in Sitka. We were only there from 10 to 4:30 because the ship was only there from 9:30 until 5, which is really short for a city like Sitka. We really enjoyed this city, and it was one of our favorite places and one of our favorite ports before we started traveling more, especially on our trip in 2021. I love it here. Like I said, when I get off the shuttle and I look across the water, it makes me wonder why I would ever want to go back home. It's that pretty and that special. And we highly recommend picking a itinerary with Sitka on there because it's just incredible. It's a place that you can't really see anywhere else on the planet.
Overall, it's a very nice city, very walkable, a lot of different things to do, and there's something for everyone there, no matter what you're looking for during your port day.
Yep. We really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. So now it's time to go back to the ship. Again, you take the same shuttle back to the ship that you took leaving the ship, the Sitka Sound shuttle. There is some stores in the port area, but we kind of walked through them and went right back onto Quantum of the Seas.
Once we were back on board, we headed over to the schooner bar to grab a drink. And one of my favorite drinks on this cruise was the Desert Pear Margarita from the schooner bar, which is tequila, desert pear syrup, and lime juice. If you have not tried it, because this was actually the first cruise that I had given it a shot, it is excellent if you like margaritas. I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, she had a bunch of them.
I did not have a bunch of them. I had a few.
She cleaned them out. So there was a few things that we did after Nicole drank way too many pear margaritas.
Oh my God.
We went back up to the Seaplex and watched people do bumper cars. They do that almost every single day of your cruise. The one downside is if you wanted to do roller skating, the roller skating is typically done on port days, and they stopped before we could get back onto the ship. So Nicole didn't get her chance to do roller skating. Thankfully, we didn't have to use our insurance.
I can roller skate.
I don't think she can. Never seen it in 11 years. One of the cool things that was going on Quantum of the Seas, and that's something I really am glad that Royal Caribbean is starting to do. They had, of course, your drink of the day. So every single day at the bars, they would have a sign and said what the drink of the day was. But they also had happy hour, where margaritas and other drinks were only $6 rather than there being their typical $15. So if you're looking for a discounted drink and you don't have the drink package, make sure you pay attention to the drink of the day and their happy hour specials, which a cruise ship with happy hour specials, that sounds awesome. Now it was time for dinner. And this is another one of the first that we had not experienced before this cruise. Royal Caribbean does themed menus in their main dining room, and we've had French night and Mexican night, and Italian night, and welcome aboard, and Royal night, a bunch. And the one thing that we had never had on any of our Royal Caribbean cruises was Asian night, and tonight was Asian night. So this is a new experience for us, which is always fun when you've taken as many cruises as we have. Taste of Asian night. Nicole, what did we order?
For our starters, we both ordered the chicken and cabbage dumplings, which is steamed and sautéed, served with a soy and sesame dipping sauce. These were very good dumplings.
I liked them. They were worth ordering. The sweet and sour dipping sauce was pretty good.
For our main courses, Travis ordered the sweet and sour pork, which is Cantonese style sweet and sour pork, golden pineapple, and red peppers. I ordered the Kung Pao chicken, which is Sichuan marinated wok fried chicken with jasmine rice, Asian greens, and a chili peanut sauce. And then to share, because I wanted to try it, we also ordered the shrimp pad thai, which was wok fried rice noodles, tossed with Asian vegetables and a savory peanut sauce.
I thought the Kung Pao chicken in the noodle shop was better, but obviously that costs money, so it should be better.
True.
The sweet and sour pork was decent. It wasn't anything that I would probably write home about if I was writing to my parents like what we had for dinner that night, but it was okay.
The pad thai was, if you like peanuts and peanut butter and peanut sauce, it was actually pretty good. For dessert, we ordered the Royal Chocolate Cake for me, which is Royal Caribbean's standard chocolate cake. They have multiple nights. It is always good. Can't go wrong. And then Travis, you ordered the Bon Flan, which was coconut custard cream and fresh lime zest.
I think there's a pretty good standard that I'm gonna like these type of desserts, from tres leche to flan to the whole creme brulee, being connoisseur of that. I liked it a lot. I think it's one of the best things on the Taste of Asia menu, and I would order more of that every time. So Taste of Asia night was a new thing for us, and it was okay. There was some meals that were better than others, obviously. I don't think it's worse than Mexican night, because Mexican night is usually not very good. But I would say it's right there with your French night and your Italian night. It's a Royal Caribbean menu. We like the fact that they're starting to add things to their menus. On this cruise, it felt like some of the menus were different than what they used to be. And having Asian night was a great, pleasant surprise because it was different. And we like different.
It's always nice to have a little variety.
After dinner, we ran all the way over to the Royal Theater because it was time for one of our more favorite things that we do on a cruise ship, and that's watch the Love and Marriage game show. Which, if you don't know what Love and Marriage is, it is a game show where they take a couple that has been together forever, like 50 years, like my parents, but they don't ever do this. A couple that is newlyweds, so somebody who just got married. And then a couple that's somewhat in the middle, and then they ask them questions about each other. They're usually really funny questions, and it's hilarity ensues. We really like Love and Marriage, and we always recommend it. We get a good laugh out of it. Some of the answers are hilarious. If you were looking for something to do late at night for an adult-only show, Love and Marriage is right there for you. If it's on your cruise compass and you're awake, we honestly believe you should definitely check it out. We loved it. So after Love and Marriage, we kind of walked the ship, explored a little bit, maybe got some Sorrento's pizza like we typically do, and then got a drink and then went back to the room. So one really cool thing about this trip in between Sitka and our next port is we'd sail past the entrance to Glacier Bay National Park. Royal Caribbean does not go to Glacier Bay. Some of the other cruise lines like Norwegian and Princess and some of the smaller cruise lines like Uncruise go there. And it's one of the places that I would love to go to eventually. But at 11:30 to midnight at night, we sailed past where you would turn in to Glacier Bay. And there's two things about this. One, it looks incredible, unbelievable. Just the mountains in the background, glaciers in the distance type of thing, the light reflecting off the water. And I stood on the balcony for a long time just watching the scenery go by. And I just mentioned the light on the water because the sun never set during this time when we were sailing and going past this area. It was like dusk, and then eventually it went back to dawn, and it was never night out. And it's one of the really cool, really weird, really interesting things about sailing in Alaska. We didn't see the sunset from when we left Sitka until we got to Victoria later in the cruise. Stand on your balcony and watch it. It's fun and interesting and pretty all at the same time.
And that wraps up our day in Sitka, our first port of our Alaskan cruise. If you have any questions about what we did during our time in Sitka, or if there's anything that we missed that you really like to do that we should try next time, make sure you leave them in the comment section down below.
Our next port on this trip, which will be in our next video, is one of my favorite ports. It's Skagway, which is the gateway to the Klondike Gold Rush. Do I get my Klondike Doughboys on this trip? Stay tuned and find out. If you'd like to support our channel and you like this video, make sure you
like this video
and subscribe to our channel for more. It really does help us out a lot, by the way. If you need us, we're going to head right back up to the Schooner Bar because Nicole needs another margarita. I'm Travis.
And I'm Nicole.
Thanks so much for watching.